So he came up to me and he said, you ain't got no business giving nobody direction. I seriously looked at that precious man of God and I wanted to tell him, man, who told you to ask me? Did I tell you I was MapQuest? Hello, my good people. Welcome back to Onyi's World. So good to see you all today. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. My name is Onyinye, and if you're not already subscribed, you're missing out. I'm going to preface this by saying, make sure you do not ask me for directions, okay? It's another story time. So when I was a teenager, back when MapQuest and Google Maps and all these other things were not even in existence, I had a minister coming into town. I was over at the pastor's house visiting with his daughter, right? And the minister called while we were getting ready to, I don't know what we're getting ready to do, but he called and he did not know which way to go on the highway. So she, the pastor's daughter who answered the phone, looks over at me and says, hey, he's trying to come into town and he wants to know whether he should come 20 east or 20 west. Child, let me tell you something. I looked up at her and I prayed eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I told him it is definitely 20 west. So he was coming down. I think he was coming up from the Alabama area trying to get to Georgia where I am. And he was, I don't know which exit he said he was at, but he was really close to the exit that he was supposed to get off to come to the church where he was supposed to be ministering for us that weekend. And when I told him 20 west, he just kept right on going. Where I think he was a good ways into, because back then the roads were not as easily predictable as they are now, but I think he was a good ways into getting towards South Carolina. And if you know anything about what I just said, you know that he has covered an appreciable distance. When they finally got to the church, he started asking, which one of y'all gave me my direction? And you know, the lot fell on me because that's how people do. My friend ratted me out. I still love her. So he came up to me and he said, you ain't got no business giving nobody direction. I seriously looked at that precious man of God and I wanted to tell him, man, who told you to ask me? Did I tell you I was MapQuest? This was back in the days where, you know, the people who could afford it had the Garmin system or the just little navigation system that you were supposed to hook up in your car. Well, I wasn't rich back then. Did I mention I was a teenager? I was not rich. And come to think of it, anyway, I didn't have one of those systems. So don't ask me for directions. Even on the way to school, y'all, a road that I commute quite often back in those days, I still managed to get lost. And when I get lost, you don't want to get lost with me because I will cause the both of us to lose our faith. We will both turn into tear puddles. As soon as I get lost, I pull over on the side of the road and I begin to weep. I don't cry. I weep because oh, who's gonna find me now? Back then, you know, that was when cell phones were really just becoming a common thing. And I resisted getting one for a while, but that's another day's story. So anyway, I resisted getting one for a while. So I would have no way to contact people. And, you know, you would have to get back in the car and find a gas station that had a phone booth in it to call. And, you know, that meant you had to keep a quarter on you. So many different variables that made getting lost not a very fun thing to do. And but yeah, I tried to make sure that I either had a printed list of directions. And let me tell you, if you saw me on the highways or the byways, you would know I was following directions, because if the speed limit was 35, honey, we were doing 3.5. I will not miss my exit. I am not getting lost. Y'all don't understand. I am so determined that I will delay my arrival just to make sure I do arrive. We fast forward to the days of the GPS. Like, everything is now on your cell phone. You know, you just hit it and you type in any address and Google just knows where everybody lives. How disrespectful. Pull right up in your yard. Knows how many plants you have in the front yard and in the backyard. You can do a 360. But even with that, let me tell you, don't get your directions from me. Make sure your battery is charged on your phone, because if you are expecting me to just know off the top of my head, we are both getting lost together. Y'all, I'm squinting because I wear glasses, but if I put my glasses on, then this window over here that I'm using for my natural light is just going to be hollering. So I can't see, y'all. I'm not that blind. I mean, I can see, but I can't, it's not clear. It looks like somebody took Vaseline and rubbed it on a camera lens. You know how you can see through that? But it's, yeah, that's what's going on. But yeah, don't ask me for directions. I just thought I should put that out there. I have people coming up talking about some, oh, do you have the this? I have MapQuest. I have Google Maps. It's on my phone. And that, since the onset of Google Maps, I have gotten lost a lot less frequently. But don't put your faith in Google Maps. I think Google has a contract with the gas stations, y'all, because when I know roads, right, I can follow them pretty easily. But when you punch in the same address that you have found a shortcut to, Google adds 15 minutes standard to your travel time because they have contracts with the gas station. I'll give you a good example. I just recently came up from the DMV area with my girls a couple months ago. We pulled over into a gas station that was right off the highway, okay? We drove past that gas station maybe an eighth of a mile. We could still see the gas station from where we pulled up so that I could change my baby. As we got done, put everything up, wrapped everything, we all got back in the car and I put the address back in and Google Maps told me turn left. I was like, I turned left to come in. How am I gonna turn left again to get out? I didn't know. So I was like, okay, let's follow Google's instructions. I took off and y'all, it took me another 45 minutes before Google said that I was ready to get back on the highway. But when I got back onto the highway, do you know what stood out? The same gas station that we had pulled off into to change the baby. That same gas station was the one I passed as we crossed over just a tiny little bit. If you have never had donkey ears drawn on you, that moment I had the biggest, I was like a rabbit. Do your ears hang low? Do they bubble? I don't know the rest of the song. I felt so stupid because it was literally a quarter of a mile from where I was parked originally that Google led me around another 45 minutes to get back on the highway. Added 2.5 hours to my travel time because I ended up jumping into traffic. So Google Maps can't be trusted either. There's two of us, that's two. And they say 3 strikes, you're out. So there's one more person left over. But I'm telling you, trust Google a whole lot more than you should trust me, because had I given you the directions from that gas station, you would still be on the road. Anyway, if you have chuckled a little bit, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so that you are made aware of every time I upload a video. And then make sure you share it with somebody else so they can laugh too. And make sure you join me in this community so that we can all find reasons to smile, because life is too short for you to be upside down frowning, okay? I love y'all. Be blessed. Bye-bye.